strong.
Hi, and welcome to Funny Minds. I'm your host, Lynn B., and my co-host is...
Edward Biss. Today is a very special day, especially for me, but graced us with his presence today. He is an artist, a musician, a singer. Where does it end? What did I leave out? What have I left out? What else are you?
He's an author.
He's an author.
He started
He created macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese.
No, look at that.
Oh, look at the album.
After my last,
we got to welcome to the show, Mr. Damon JINIYA today. How are you, brother?
I've gotten
Damon, look at that. Did you draw that, Damon?
That is super cool,
That's
man.
awesome.
That is super cool.
After my last outing, and that was from my heart. You know, it was really fun.
Oh, I like that.
That's awesome.
It's amazing how
that is awesome.
And seeing the world can really inspire you to, get out and be creative again. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks
absolutely.
for coming back on and want to give you an opportunity today to share with the listeners and viewers all that is Damon JINIYA.
Yes.
What
are
is
you
going on,
doing?
my
Where
brother?
are you? What's going on?
Well, I live in Campbellsville, Kentucky, which is in Taylor County, Kentucky. It's the heart of the state. It's right in the center. And we're about an hour and a half from Louisville and about 2 hours from Nashville. So we're right in the middle.
Louisville.
What's that?
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah. Louisville, yeah. And I love it. It's really a cool, laid back environment here. And I've been, my wife has been painting, as you can see behind me. There's some of her paintings. And, we've just kind of been in a really creative mode, I've been painting a lot. And I've written actually 3 books in the last couple of years. One of them is Wandering Poems for Dreamers. This was originally called Anarchist Poems. And
Okay.
basically what this is a collective of all of poetry from the time I was a kid. And I got really down because I lost my mom in 2021. My mom, she passed away of vascular dementia. And, it's very real and it's horrible. And I was down, and my wonderful wife, Star, she was like, you really need to do something with yourself. You're really getting down. And so I compiled years of poetry that I had, from time I was a kid. And I've been writing poetry on the backs of like Slurpee containers.
Oh, Damon.
Pizza boxes, whatever. And I keep them all in a folder. And I went back and I literally transcribed them off of these pieces of, paper that were done in the middle of like turmoil in my life. My first poem written when I was 9 on the back of a Trapper Keeper. And that kind of set the precedent. So basically, the Anarchist Poems were, my first poem when I was about 9 years old. It was basically my idea of anarchy, in the 80s. And you probably remember this too, was like, the lack of rule, kind of like a fashion,
Right.
And my first was at a bus stop near the ocean. We are pushing through this game. Some of us have skateboards, fireworks, and paint. Our backpacks all are day glow. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We can't decide. We carry our tools of wonder to build an exciting life. That was in January 6, 1984.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Wow.
I scribbled that in the back of a Trapper Keeper, and that was one of my first poems. When I read that, I was like, "Wow!" And there's 164 pages. You can get it on Kindle. I'm not plugging my book, but it's pretty cool.
Pump your book. That's fine.
Pump it up.
Pump up the jam. Pump it up. Pump it.
My wonderful wife made the, after a while of it not really selling, because it kind of sat on the shelves. I had a lot of downloads, but people weren't buying the actual, pages. And my wife realized that the word anarchist, back when we were kids, was kind of like a fashionable thing. That's what I was talking about earlier. And a lot of my ideas on here were being a skater, being, a punk. And she realized that, anarchy now in today's world is kind of maybe a derogatory thing, like people that are anarchists, like criminals, So
yeah.
True.
Yeah, like you're a Nazi lover or something like that.
Yep, this is my new name. Same book, same poems. It's different marketing.
Oh, look, I like that much better.
Yeah, that's Chuck on the back. Right
yeah.
Yep, and we actually took that at Dernicky Island, and it was when the tide was up, so it looks like we're, and I turned it into Wandering Poems for Dreamer. Now, I think about
I like that so much better. That's so much better.
Yeah, no, that's super cool.
I think it's other poems that had something to say, like Howl and stuff. And if they had gotten, maybe a different name for their time, maybe they would have gotten their message out. So hopefully, buy my book. And then another book, American Family Ultra. And this is like 260 pages. This is my biggest endeavor that I've ever done. And I wrote everything while my mom was in progressive care for vascular dementia. And it was just kind of something to pass the time. And it's hard to explain, when you love your mom as you do, and then you watch them turn
slip
into
away,
Yeah. And she was the one that taught me how to do this wonderful stuff. She was the grammar Nazi. She was the one, made me a
grammar Nazi. I like that.
I'm married to one.
She insisted that I spoke correctly, even though my friends came around like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" She's like, "What is up?"
Yeah.
And I love but totally not cool, but cool in a literary way. She gave me a lot of my early books and a lot of ideas. And I think I read Stephen King's Skeleton Crew, and she would read me some of her old books. Ghost Story was another one. Early 80s, like suspense novels. And this is a throwback to her. It's called American Family Ultra. Man, it's deep. It's heavy. I had to actually pull it from KDP. I didn't get any strikes on it, but there's just a lot going on in here. When I was writing this, I was dealing with my mom dying. I was dealing with all these phone calls. I went and visited her about page 144. And then when I went back, I wrote the rest of it. And sadly, when I got to the last page, I think it needs an ending. But, I wrote the last page and they called me and told me that she had passed away. So put the book down.
Wow.
And it's a cool book. It's got a lot going on. I think it should be like a screenplay because she turned me on to a lot of action and adventure things. So it's got a lot of that going on.
Okay.
To summarize, I guess it's two generations of a family, both working with the CIA. And basically it's a mother and daughter. The plot is a mother and daughter. And she is coming out of jail because she got in some trouble as a celebrity. It uncovers the MK Ultra plot, if you've ever heard about that. And they're a family that kind of rolled in those circles. And there's some really rough and tumble things in here. I didn't write it with anything in mind. I let the characters develop. And that's kind of why some of the people that have read it are like, it's a little heavy, dude.
Did you dedicate it to your mom?
No, I didn't dedicate this one to my mom. I dedicated the poetry book, because it is very heavy, and there is some subject matter in here that she would not approve of, and just just modern things. And like I said, I let the characters develop, so they developed in a very natural way. So there's some things that she would love in here, and then there's things that she'd be like, "Dang, man, what did you do?" When I can get out the Damon, what did you do?
Funny.
It's 260.
Young man.
Damon, do you have a middle name?
Michael.
When she was mad, did she say
Michael?
Damon Michael?
No, when she was mad, she called me Damn It.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
And then she switched to Jesus Christ.
Damn it. That's awesome.
She didn't really that much, only when I pissed her off.
Which is a lot, right?
Every hour on the hour.
You're right. What do you have?
What you got?
In Kentucky, right here, Ale1. Actually, I just discovered the one not too long ago. I've been drinking this stuff for years, and I didn't even know this little dinky one over here. It's Ale8. But it's a Kentucky brand of basically ginger ale, and it's beautiful. It's lightly sweet. I feel like I'm selling it.
Love ginger ale.
I love ginger ale, yeah.
Oh, my weakness.
It goes down. The sparkling smile.
And it feels so good.
Hell yeah.
Do you have the
Extra
Do you
ice.
have the flavored ginger ales down there?
We do, yeah. There's all kinds of different, crazy things you can do with ginger ale.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, when I was little, we did the wine spritzes, with the the wine.
And you put the ginger ale in there?
Spritzers.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you drink wine, but you got to put ginger ale in it. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
I know, right?
This much wine, this much ginger ale. You're like,
Yeah,
Mom. Yeah, I love my ale.
So what do you got, Damon? What do you got going on musically now? With anything on the docket? Are you doing any? Are you doing teaching, writing?
Well, there's a few things.
I know you had the showcasing that you're dealing with for original bands, which is super cool. So what's going on musically?
Man, I got really lucky over the last couple of months. It's been very positive. Things are definitely looking up when I kind of came to terms with my my fears and desires.
Okay.
Right? Nashville is my hometown. It's where I grew up. It's where I know all the back roads. It's where I know where all the creeks are. It's
Okay.
I know the whole town like the back of my hand. And I moved there in well, I won't say it because, I can't tell my age, but anyway,
Okay.
it was a long.
Come on.
It was like 81 or something like that. I still like Michael Jackson, so it was a long time ago. I was wearing a white.
Michael Jackson.
I still like Michael Jackson.
Well, I mean,
Hell
I don't
yeah.
dress like him anymore, but I did at one point, and I'll admit it. I had a bowl cut. Did you ever do that? I had the bowl cut and the white glove, and you went to school.
That was his brother. His brother did that.
Oh, yeah, my brother did that. Yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he did the
Oh,
break
yeah.
dancing and the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
I did it too. I got tired of doing that, so to try to be like a trendsetter, because Prince was popular, and honestly, I love my
Prince is the man.
Yeah.
But what I do is try to innovate, and man, it didn't work out so well. But I'll tell you what I did is I went to my mom's closet, right, and I got because she had the blouses that had like shoulder pads, and
Right.
they tied like a pirate, and they went up like this, and they
Yeah.
pirate, and you make it all look all cool. And I got one of her purple blazers. And I was putting on some eye makeup. Went to school looking like a cross between Morris Day and one of the monkeys. And I thought I was
Say what? Hallelujah.
going to an inner city national school. I had other opinions, of my look, but it didn't keep me from trying to innovate. I still
Hell yeah.
wear really questionable things. I went through like a thing where I went on YouTube and I started looking up my old band Retribution. Me and Chuck have, I won't say we rekindled anything. It's just everything kind of went topsy-turvy with COVID. So we landed and now we're buddies, we never were not. We're brothers. And we were just talking about just how crazy some of the shit was and the stuff we wore and the hair and, just how much fun then, and seeing some of the is. So
I think
cool.
I think one of the funniest ones was when you guys did you did a Halloween show and you guys obviously were all dressed out and this is way back in the day when like you had Sean playing drums for you.
Oh yeah,
Sean had a tramp stamp tattooed on his back. By his ass. It was like a fake tramp stamp.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Then we go all out.
Some of it was surfaced on German, publications. I don't know. There was one song that says, and
Damon came out with nothing but a turtleneck and a Speedo.
What's that?
I said you came out in just a turtleneck and a Speedo.
I had a completely different fashion sense.
I know. Damon was the first guy I ever seen do a live performance, and he purposely took Viagra before the show. So he ran around stage with a giant boner the whole show.
Did you do that, Damon?
I thought it would be great, but when I jumped up on the bar, it all tumbled. Well, literally.
So you pole vaulted onto the bar.
No, I wish. I would love to say I pole vaulted onto the bar. No. Now, the trouble came when we got off the bar. and I knocked some drinks over. They weren't happy about it, you know, but bought them some new drinks. And,
but you made your point, right, Damon? You made the point, right?
I never took Viagra and played again. And that, you know,
that's funny.
He had to go to the ER after the show because it just wouldn't go away.
What's that?
You had to go to the ER after the show because it just wouldn't go away.
So yeah, it was like 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. You know, I thought it was going to be a value. For me, it was a total buzzkill. You know,
I thought you just found Brad attractive. That's what I thought.
Well, you forget what to do with it after about an hour. You know, you're sitting there with a boner, and about an hour goes like, you know what I mean? Like you watch a lion tamer, and they're out there.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you got a boner for 4 or 5 hours, you're watching your lion. You're like, all right, down, boy. You know.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
No, I'm just.
You gotta do.
I've taken Viagra in my life. I condone it, nor do I've ever had to use it. I'm not wrong with anything. I promise. You know. My wife's gonna watch that and be like, I go? Like, no.
Yeah. No, honey, honest, I don't.
I really didn't. It's not something, nothing wrong with my gang.
Star will pop out and be like, what is in this jar? This is where you hide the green M&Ms, huh?
Oh, yeah. Sure. No.
So you mentioned Chuck, and obviously, not obviously, but we want to mention the project Herman Nebula, which you wrote and recorded with Chuck, which was, I found to be just incredibly well done. You ever think about doing a follow-up?
Well, that's what we've been doing basically is I've been working with the same manager that, you know, it's funny how things transpire. You know, at the time that my manager, David Krebs, and I've known him for 25 years, you know, and he's one of my dear friends. I've been sending him music since I left SAVATAG, and he hated Diet of Worms. You know, he's an 84-year-old man, and that just was too much for him. He's like, no.
Yeah. I love that Hall of the Mountain King. It's very good.
So he was very honest. He's a shrewd New Yorker. So I was basically, you know, throwing darts, you know, trying to find what this guy was like. Well, finally, in 2013, me and Chuck, and this is going to sound totally cheesy, and you can call me whatever you want to call me, but we conceived a record out of love, you know, and you know what I'm talking about, Eddie. And when you work with writers, sometimes you can work with people that you fight with the entire time, and like the finished product is good, but it's angry and it's got this kind of like rough tone. Man, me and Chuck were getting along with our wives, and our pets were in top shape. We were going out to the island every day pretty much, and writing and getting tans and working, and things were going really good in our lives, and we got along really well. So we, as songwriters, had this rare thing, and you'd think it would be less rare, but of having a lot of love in our hearts and creating some music to, you know, make it short. And we sent this music off to David Krebs. Well, David Krebs, you know, not to drop names or anything, if you look him up, he was the guy who worked with Lieber Krebs, and he's 84 years old, and he is a fan of you know, Herman Nebula. He loves it. We talk all the time, and it's something that's taken a while to develop, obviously 10 years, but he's somebody that we're good friends. He really wants to do something with it, but with the shift in the way music is, we're talking about making it the soundtrack or something. But the good news is I'm aligned with my old management. I'm aligned with Chuck. We're writing again, and we basically revamped all of the music that was never released. And we didn't release it nationally.
Okay.
We only released it locally.
Oh, you know, wow, that's great.
Yeah, so David is working on hopefully an international deal where we can not only release the music to like a corporate entity that will put it on like Netflix or something, but to, you know, put on like vinyl and have it for sale, you know, on Amazon. And it's exciting, you know, to be old like me and still have those kind of dreams. And you know,
wait a minute, I'm old. You're not old. Okay, you're not old by any means.
Well, you know, I don't feel old. I mean, I do some mornings. I mean, like, oh God, my back.
Oh,
I make
God,
too
yeah.
many jokes. You know, that's one thing. That's why I know I still feel young, because people still look at me like, oh, shut the fuck up. You know, like they did when I was
I'm
corny
like,
jokes. You know?
I'm like the OG of the podcast world. You're just a young pup.
No, thank you.
But I see you on Facebook all the time. It's like you're all over the place. It's like so great. I'm so happy for you. Like you're really getting out there. You're doing things.
You know, Facebook is like anything else, man. It's a veneer. Facebook can either showcase, you know, what you're doing or what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm working on right now are three different things. One of them is an open jam that's going to happen, the inaugural first open jam in Nashville. It's about, 3 blocks from the airport. People from all over the country, friends that I know. I've got some friends coming in from Vegas. I've got some friends coming in from California. Trying to get some people up from Florida, Eddie.
Is that a hint? That's a hint, Eddie.
He
wants you to go out to Nashville.
Yeah, basically trying to get a collect.
Nashville's awesome.
One of the things that I feel, you know, because I don't know, you're from New York. You remember the Limelight?
Oh, yes. The church. Yep.
The church. Okay. Then you remember the same kind of things I remember, which was, you know, beautiful people like Peter Gation, you know, having these amazing nights where they have metal nights and they have like, and what it was a place where people could kind of get together and put ideas together and possibly come up with new ideas. Because to be perfectly honest, I'm not very happy with the way things are. And I'm sure a lot of other people aren't. And there's a myriad of reasons for that. But I want to see something that's sincerely unique. You know what I mean? And I think that the reason why there's so many things that are not unique is because a lot of the places that used to create them, you know, like the Limelight, like the Whiskey A Go Go, you know, like the Rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They're closed, you know, or, you know, like I went to the Rainbow in 2018 and it was, you know, I didn't expect to see Lemmy encased in carbonite, you know, God rest his soul. But it was a totally different vibe. You know, everybody was in mourning and nobody was communicating. Nobody was jiving and vibing. So there's a new climate now, you know what I mean? And within that new climate, my fear is that we're going to lose that essence of just getting together, young and old, and teaching each other as humans, not through virtual reality and not through an app and not through anything that's impersonal, but all together at a place, you know, in a central location, which is Nashville. Nashville's rocking. Near the airport, so you can fly in, you can stay there and, you know, jam. This first jam's, we've already got the roster pretty much full. I'll just give away some of the concepts. I'm going to start advertising. It's going to be August 5th. The date is solidified. It's the Donaldson Pub. And the concept is time warp. We're going to start from today. I've got a one-man band that kind of does some futuristic stuff. It's kind of cool, you know, because it plays everything. And I'm going to go from that to the 90s, you know, and do some like 90s style. And I've got some people that are in that vein, and then go to the 80s and do some 80s style. And within this mix of cover tunes, and these are all jammers that are coming out to play. So I've already contacted them via email, and, you know, they kind of, it's an open jam, but it's not like a show up and play. It's like, you know, when you come there, it's going to be scripted out, and there's going to be kind of a show, but everybody gets to participate. You know, it's Nashville, so you got to kind of put on a Vegas style show, you know?
Right.
And,
hell yeah.
Yeah, the team is awesome. They have their own backline, so nobody has to bring any backline, which is really big. I mean, if you're traveling, the worst thing you want to have to do is bring your Marshall or something. They have all that stuff. All you have to do is just bring your small sound, you know, your unit. Your unit.
He said
yuck,
unit.
yuck.
He said small unit.
I'm 12 years old. You don't mind me. But basically the dream is for me and my friend Dave Goodrich, whom I've been friends with for 35 years. You know, we survived OJ.
How is that possible? You're like 31.
Yeah.
Right. Keep telling people that.
I know. Don't be giving out those numbers.
Yeah, I know. I'm much older than 31, baby. I got underwear that's 31. Still got my number in cursive, too.
But you're too much.
I like it. I like the concept. You know, I've seen you putting it out there. You've sent it to me. I think it's pretty badass, to be honest with you. I think it's going to go over insanely well. And you know who lives over in Nashville besides a million other people? But maybe you could get Kip Winger in there.
You know,
Kip's over in Nashville.
Kip Winger, and I'll be brief because I got a story about everything. I met Kip Winger, and I'm not proud of the story. And usually people don't tell stories because it's just too funny not to tell. And Kip was such a nice guy about it. Well, there's this place in Nashville called the Exit Inn, and across the street from it is called the Gold Rush. And Exit Inn's drinks are watered down, they're shitty. And back when I was an alcoholic, you know, we would go across the street to the Gold Rush and get our buzz on. And can I cuss?
Sure.
Fuck.
Absolutely.
Man. They loaded me up. And I went across the street. It was the Donnas. I don't know if you guys remember the Donnas, but it was like this pop girl group, and it was packed. I mean, it was like their debut in Nashville. So I ended up going because my friend wanted to go, and it was this kind of teeny bopper, cool. It was a cool vibe, but I was Sid Vicious up here, you know.
Oh God.
I was that guy. Oh my God, that's a fight. You know. Not, I wasn't violent, but I was definitely looking for trouble. So I don't drink.
Just a little bit.
You know, I haven't drank for a long time. But yeah, I used to look for trouble. And this particular night at the Donnas, I look over and I see this guy that looks like Kip Winger. And I should have known living in fucking Nashville, right? And I'm like, hey, and I start messing with the guy. I'm like, hey, Kip, you know, and I'm being this drunk jerk. And I'm like, Kip. And the guy comes over and he goes, yes, can I help you? You know, and I looked at him, and he bore a striking resemblance to the guy. You know, he had a beard. I was like, shit, you know, 17, you know. But he was like, I am Kip Winger, and I'm like, no, man, you know, pulled out his ID because he knew I was pissed drunk, and he was totally a good soul. And he pulled out his ID and he's like, listen, I am Kip Winger. Here's my card. When you sober up, give me a call. And he was one of the people that helped me to produce The Neglected. So if you go on the internet, you'll find The Neglected. And that was a project that I did in Nashville with Dave Goodrich. And Kip Winger had a little bit to do with that. So it's kind of a small world. Kip Winger. And he actually got back in touch with me because I actually like emailed him and apologized. I felt like such a douche. You know, you wake up in the morning like, what did I do? You know,
you're really like,
oh yeah.
But when in Nashville, do you have to go, man? I got to contact Kip Winger, man. I was a real douche to him last night.
I treat him like shit.
So sorry, man. And I expect him to be like, oh. And he wrote me back, best of us. And he is one of the most genuinely cool people. Him and believe it or not, well, not believe it or not, but Mark Slaughter is another person that lives in that neck of the woods. It's so cool. Him and Kip Winger both are really into the arts, and they're into helping children and people who don't have money to realize their dreams, you know, and I'll leave it at that. You know, they're just good people.
Okay.
Sure.
And they could have totally went twisted on everybody. And Kip Winger's been through a lot. And I'll be honest, man, during his reign, I was into Slayer. So Kip Winger was the coolest thing from my mind, but it's somebody that I respect more now that I've gotten older, you know, kind of like Lima Beans. He's the
honestly, I would kind of compare him, like you both have a lot in common. You know, artistically, musically as well, you know, writing. I mean, Kip went to Juilliard. He could dance. He could, you know, he could, you know, put orchestras together. I mean, he's just an insanely talented cat. Right. And you share a lot, you know, as well.
You know, so. I don't dance, but he's just.
Well, minus that. I eliminate the dancing. I don't want to see you. I never want to see you dance, Damon.
Yeah.
I have danced. Oh, man.
I would pay money to see you break dance, though.
He's throwing shade on you, Damon.
Look at him.
Chair dance. He chair dances.
Terrible. It's terrible. A couple of our mitzvahs are like, can you please leave now? Get out of here. Get the wine early.
You just walk around with a tip jar. like what was it from Jackass? What's Party Boy? Just walk around with a boom box and a tip jar.
I love it.
Oh, God.
That's awesome.
Don't give him any bad ideas.
That's amazing. And again, with the Nashville thing, I welcome you both to come up there. You know, it is a central city. It's a vacation city. If you do come up there at any time, it's going to be hopefully the dream. And it's cool because I know the club owner. My mom played the club back in like the early 80s. So when my friend up there, is like, man, it's this pub we went to, and I literally got the worst deja vu. I mean, the whole place started spinning, and I looked over, and they've got, you know, those old shuffleboards that have like the sand. And
yes,
they have one of those.
Oh my God!
And they've had it since my mom played there, and when I saw that,
that's ancient. Oh my God!
Flashback, and the stage was in the same spot, and the guy who runs it is a dude I went to high school with. And the sound guy was a dude that I knew from a gig that I used to do in Nashville. So they both were like, "Hey, Damon, what's up?" You know, and I realized, man, I have a place in this world, you know, and they knew. I don't know how I didn't develop a Southern accent, but I was very Northern at one point. I couldn't pronounce my R's until I was like 12 or 13. So thanks, Phil.
So you're back home, basically.
Yeah, you know, I live in Kentucky. I visit Nashville now because it's so expensive. You know, it's one of those places that, you know, I have friends that live there, but you know, they work all the time. You know, and
well, it's a big tourist area, so of course it's going to be expensive. You know,
how far are you from Nashville, Damon? Is it do you just, when you're going to do this, you just drive over to Nashville, or is it you have a fly, or is it how far away?
You want?
I know the back way. You know?
Oh, he knows the back way.
Yeah, there's like a bat cave way, and if you drive fast enough and avoid the deer, and there's like a farm you got to drive through or something like that.
Couple tri-counties.
You know, wait, dude.
So you got to avoid the deer and the cops.
Your car with a banjo.
Here.
Well, I always keep a banjo in the trunk, man. No, you want to be the one with the banjo. You don't want to meet the guy with the banjo.
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah, I know.
No.
What was that? Deliverance. That was the name of that show.
You got to hurt him out.
I still remember that movie. That was a scary movie.
The only guy I could deal with a banjo is Steve Martin.
Oh,
because
God,
he plays the banjo and he's funny as hell.
King Tut was one of the first albums I ever had, was that King Tut. And it was him. He's an amazing.
And he had the broken arrow on his head and everything, the whole deal.
Inside, great player and great musician. He's still around today.
Yeah. Like surprisingly well. Excellent.
It shows it's a really.
That's funny though.
You know,
that is funny.
I mean, he's just a really good guy. I think that's really taken his success in stride. You know, and it's funny that you mentioned him, because I was just talking about him not too long ago as one of the unsung heroes of music. You know, because he can play like bluegrass, like Ricky Skaggs. You know, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that's not.
Wow.
It's not every day you sit down and see like people chiseling out bluegrass. I mean, that's such a style of playing that really takes a lot of discipline. You really got that's a lot of time, a lot of work with that level of finger picking. And
well, my perspective of bluegrass, you know, was when I was a kid, I used to go and do country music talent contests. You know, when I was about 8 years old, I was a secular singer.
Okay.
9 to 5, and I did an Elvis medley, which just slayed them, and I did a 50s medley, and these are my 3 songs, and I would go out there and win contests because of my age and, you know, being cute. You know, like, it was a really shitty thing in the 80s to do, and 90s, because if you were a kid and, you know, you could just win these contests left and right, and I did, you know, and
why not?
I'm sure you don't feel bad about it.
I mean, it wasn't my idea. It was, you know, it was family. They were like, "Hey, go to work, son. If you're going to live here, you're going to go
earn your keep."
But in those experiences, I got to meet some just amazing people, that at the time were washing dishes, at the clubs that they were in and things like that, like Randy Travis. And he was the dishwasher club that I went in when I was like 8 and got to sing 9 to 5 and all these songs that I went in and played. And basically I honed my shtick. I did country music, and then I retired, when I was like 12 doing country. I remember telling my mom, like, "Look, Mom, I've been doing this for like 9 years. I'm ready to
I don't do it anymore. I'm done.
I'm retiring at 9.
I want to be a comedian. It's just like, why? And I did. I kind of went away from music for a while, and I concentrated on writing. And that's honestly where a lot of this stuff came from. Was at that point, I really started concentrating and barrel dozing on writing, staying up late at night. I was a really bad. I couldn't sleep when I was a kid. I had really bad insomnia. Stayed up, wrote. So that helped me through, and I made the transition after my mom let me go see Alice Cooper. That was it.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That'll do it.
That'll change anybody.
Everybody wants to say that their first concert was like Led Zeppelin or the Doors. Mine was the Oak Ridge Boys. It's true.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
When I was 8, I wanted to be the dude with the beard. To me, that's what manhood was. They got long beard and the giddy up, boom, bow, man. That was my paradigm.
It's all about the belt buckle.
Yeah, right.
I got a belt buckle. Well, I had a belt buckle on, but yeah, I'm all about the belt buckle because of my first concert. So both concerts made an impression, but it was funny because it was 86 and it was, I wasn't allowed to go to the Constrictor tour, which Alice was promoting that year. But by 87, he had the Raise Your Fist and Yell tour. And this is how different things were.
Awesome.
It's a great record. And this is how different things were. My mom saw the Constrictor record with him with the snake coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. My grandmother said he was a sicko, and she played the only wound for me. And I fell in love. I'm like, I don't want to hear more. Thanks, Mosa, Grandma. My grandmother actually turned me into Alice. She didn't mean to. She's like, don't ever listen to this sicko, but this is the only song I like.
I thought he was funny as hell, but
But Alice, definitely changed my scope of what I went into musically, and then it was kind of chosen for me from that point on. All these different. I came of age in age of trend, so it was very trendy when I turned 18, 19, 20, and there was a trend after trend after trend, and I kind of stayed the same. I still got the same long black hair. I basically have the same look that I had when I was 15. I'm old now, and I'm not old, but I'm older.
You're older. Yeah, you're older. You've grown up, Damon.
Yeah. And but I the same look, and it's just funny if you live long enough, you ride all of these trends. So in the early 90s, these goths were like, hey, join us. And the only reason why I looked like I did was because of Alice Cooper. And I couldn't tell them that, but I learned about Sisters of Mercy. I learned about Christian Death. I learned about the Bauhaus. I learned about all these really cool bands that I would never have learned about. And then when Marilyn Manson, took over, all these people are like, oh, you're into Marilyn Manson. I'm like, not really. But I went into that world of the Jenna Torturers and Dope, AC Slade, was, just people that were in that world that taught me a lot. I've never met anybody that didn't have something to teach. And it's kind of neat how life sort of takes you where you're supposed to be. So I've been gothic, been country. I've been in a cover band like you've seen. I've been in SAVATAG, which was a symphonic heavy metal band. And right now, I guess the third thing that I'm finishing up on that I started talking about is original project. This is the Herman Nebula stuff, and we're revamping it for 2025. We're going to try to get
that's great.
Yeah, major label distribution.
Oh, that's wonderful, Damon.
I hate to
but I'm so excited for you that you're doing all this. It's great.
Every day I work, I'm a workaholic, and hope is the engine that drives me. So, it's like some people have their vices and everything. And my vice every day is just to get up and work. towards something. My wife too, she paints every day, and she's not doing her job. She's doing something creative, and it helps to ease the turmoil that's going on in life for everybody right now, not just for me.
Right.
And you pour yourself into your craft or a goal or a hope. And my hope, is this old project that, this old man who I've been friends with, David Krebs for years, he flies it up the flagpole. Like Lemmy said, we'll see who salutes it, right?
So Damon, tell our audience where they can find you. Give us all of your lowdown, where everybody can go.
My name is Damon JINIYA. I'm pretty searchable on Google, but if you want to go to my .com, it's Earth Stone Spirit. It's all one word. There's no case. EarthStoneSpirit.com. And what it is it's kind of everything that I do. It's a link to my Wikipedia, so it gives you more of an idea of my background and what I've done. I agree with the Wikipedia. A lot of my friends don't. They'll be like, "Can you believe what they put on Wikipedia?" So I'm like, "Let's say stuff about me." So I maybe you should stop screwing so and so. I'm just kidding. But,
so that's your link to everything.
Well,
Earth, Wind, Stone.
There's a Wikipedia page.
Earth, Stone, Spirit.
So, what's that?
Earth, Stone, Spirit.
Earth, Stone, Spirit. Yeah, it's a link to everything. It's the TikTok. It's all of the. It's kind of like the database, and if you click on any of the links, it'll take something related.
It'll take you.
Okay.
Excellent.
You can buy my book there, do Earth, Stone, Spirit. And then if you want to find me, I've changed my handle because of the August 5th thing that's happening at the Donaldson Pub. So if you want to find me now, Music City Sanctuary is my handle.
Yeah.
My name or Music City Sanctuary, all one word. I've incorporated that, so it's going to be a brand. It's my new brand.
Your new brand. Okay. I love new brands. That's your new look. Okay. Well, I'm so excited that you were able to come back on with us, because I was very disappointed that, the first session couldn't go through, but that's okay. It's okay. And 6 months from now, I'm going to have you back on, because I want to know everything that you've done over the summer and how well things have gone. And I wish I could come to Kentucky, but if I do get a chance, you better be sure I'm going to hook you up with a phone call like, Damon, I'm on the way. What do I do? But I would love to do
Michael.
it. I just thought of one more thing that I'm doing on August 5th. I'm sorry, September 5th. 1 month away from, or 1 month after the Donaldson Pub, Herman Nebula has been asked to play Hempstock, and that is in Raywick, Kentucky.
Okay.
And that you can find that online. It's Hempstock Music Festival, and it's Raywick.
In Raywick.
It's a camping event. They're selling tickets. Mm-hmm. It's through Ticketmaster, and I'm on there with Herman Nebula. So it's going to be we're putting the band back together.
How are you going to? So it's going to be you and Chuck, and who else? You got some cats up there that are going
to. It's going to be Kevin Lindsay, which is an old name from Florida. He used to play all over the place.
Kevin, yeah.
You know Kevin Lindsay?
Yeah.
Oh, great guy, man. Me and him have become great friends as we were in Florida, but he lives in Nifley. I called it Nifley because I'm from the inner city, but it's called Nifley. And he lives up in Nifley. And, we're country neighbors, and he's got his drums set up here, and we're recording together, and we are establishing the rhythm. I play keyboard, so I'm doing all the click tracks, and we're working on rhythm and that. And then we're going to incorporate Dave Goodrich, and then of course Chuck Powell. I'm working on Chuck, but Chuck, it's not because he doesn't want to do it. It's just his schedule is really hot, hot. He's a hard-working guy, man. Chuck is one of the hardest working rockers that I know. He's got his lawn business. He's got a wonderful wife and a beautiful dog named Ime. So it's hard for him to find the time to. Isn't there a song like that? There never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do.
Things that you want to do.
That's for sure. For everybody.
Is that Jim Croce, or is that?
It is. It's a time in a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Because I would have looked that up. That would have been me all night.
I know. Right?
That's that's one of those songs you listen to and you just start bawling.
No.
Just can't help it.
Now 19, you're like,
oh, totally.
Well, again, I really appreciate you being on the show. And, you know, I'm very excited that you were able to make it. And we're going to keep watching what you do. And I know Eddie's going to keep me informed, but I see what you do on Facebook because you're always putting something out on Facebook.
She stalks you.
I do. I stalk everybody. So for all of our fans out there, we have a new look. So if you go on funnyminds.com, you will see our new look. We have 4 different new logos, and we have cups and we have shirts, and we're 420 friendly. So there'll be a lot of other stuff on there that you can take a look at. And we're going to be doing affiliates pretty soon and putting that out. And we're pushing for a lot of different things going forward. So again, funnyminds.com. We love you. We love everybody. And Damon, thank you again. I had a great time talking to you. And, you know, I wish you all the best. I really, really do. So for everybody out there, be happy, be safe, be kind, smile and laugh, because we all know that laughter is the best medicine. So with that, I say goodbye. And I love you all, and we'll see you all again. Bye-bye now.
Damon, thank you, my brother. Love you, man.
Thank you.